What is it like to live alone? Love the solitude, but hate the loneliness. There's a fine line between them. On the one hand, you can do as you please. On the other hand, everything is your own responsibility. So if anything's going to get done, it's all up to you. And on the gripping hand, when you're personally in need, like loneliness or medical emergency, you're on your own. These dishes aren't going to do themselves. Just like your crippling depression isn't going to just go away on its own. When I first lived alone after having roommates, I remember being like, ugh, how come no one else ever empties the dishwasher? Until I realized, this is so relatable. I got an F brand Roomba, 7/10 on effectiveness and the efficiency by which it goes about it, but 10/10 having everything not be my chore. All you gotta do is clean up after yourself as soon as you're done. That way, if you clean your whole living space once a week or every 2 weeks, it won't take long and your crib will always be generally clean. I have never closed the bathroom door, which is especially nice when you're getting out of the shower with no foggy mirrors. My cat get weirded out when guests close the bathroom door. I closed my bedroom door for the first time in like 4 years last week. A cat was being up at 5 AM. They were both sitting right outside when I opened it in the morning. My cats do not hew to the normal detached cat stereotype, but then it's not warm when you get out of the shower. Since getting out is difficult on its own, I enjoy having the few degree temperature rise from the steam edit. Thanks fams. It's awesome. Life is on the U channel 24/7, but you gotta really love that programming. Living alone is better than living with people who stress you out, but worse than living with someone who makes you feel safe and at ease. After 8 years of the latter, it's only okay to live alone. It isn't great, but it could be worse. That's why I like that I travel 15-20% of the time for my job during non-COVID times. I get an opportunity to be my own person, do my own thing. But I've got a great thing at home, and the other 80-85% is made better cause I get that little bit of time to let my hair down. I get lonely and really rely on my friends for happiness. Like, I love living alone. Then sometimes I effing hate it. Weird world honestly. I'm sure someone else can relate. A lot of people prefer to recharge alone, then expend that energy out with friends. But it's a balancing act of making sure you don't overcharge or run dry. Seems stressful to me, but I don't know. Prefer to be alone on my property. Nobody ever runs the taps while you're in the shower. Why does this hit so hard? When I say hit, I mean ice cold water hitting my back when people do that or my hair cakes in shampoo from the lack of water for so long. My parents got school guard shower controls in the freaking 1970s. How is freezing or roasting people with other taps even a thing in the 2020s? Yeah, I've never had that problem. Only thing that happens is the water pressure dips a bit. For better or worse, your shiz always where you last left it. That is a moving statement. I hope it moved you in a good way. Is it still living alone if you have a cat? The lil bee once dragged my Laned with my keys out of my purse and into the closet. Was late to work, sure I'd lost my goddamn mind when I couldn't find them. Now you don't live alone, you live with an a-hole. What everyone else has said, plus this weird phenomenon, it can feel lonely, and suddenly a friend or family calls. You get a little perked up speaking to someone. Then in about 5 minutes you can't wait to get off the phone and join your own solitude again. As someone who lives alone, the solitude is everything for me. Also being able to do whatever you want and not have to explain yourself to anyone. I love that I don't have to coordinate with anyone when I want to do something. Want to sip coffee on the couch for 3 hours on the weekend in pajamas before I go run my errands? Fine. Falling asleep during a movie and want to go to bed and watch the rest later. Or not if it was me. There's no negotiation. Want cereal for dinner? I'm too tired lazy to cook. Not gonna hear any complaints. I love living alone. I miss this so much. I thought getting married was what I was supposed to do. But now I know I just liked being alone. Now I have a kid on the way and that life is so gone. It's nice when your own solitude can keep you company. I like me. I get up early to be with me. Kinda sucks when you just want to be held though, or that moment when someone rings and your voice hasn't been used all day, so you sound weird for half the call. This, usually when I'm lonely, I really just wish someone was thinking of me. I have a circle of family and friends I can and do reach out to, but my phone rarely rings. I have to be the one to initiate contact. That's most likely because I'm the only one without a family to soak up my time. You are forced to discover if you are a good or shitty roommate. I got really good at cleaning when I realized I didn't like living in filth. I realized I had always been really good at cleaning, but before I'd been cleaning for 4. I don't really agree. I've yet to hear anyone admit they're the bad roommate. People have different ideas of what's normal, and when they clash it creates conflict. Levels of cleanliness are the main point of conflict, and the reality is that the less clean party thinks the other person is neurotic. I guess maybe if you go through 5 sets of roommates and they all hate living with you, maybe you'll realize what the common factor is. Simply the best. No checking in with someone. No explanations required if you just want to walk out the door and do something. The freedom is just unmatched. You don't know how annoying it is to bounce your intentions off of another person until you don't have to do it anymore. Not to mention there are none of the million little compromises and accommodations you make just having a roommate. Living alone, you can watch whatever TV show, movie or video game when you want. Pause it for half an hour to make whatever you want for dinner, and then do whatever you want with the dishes afterwards. The bathroom is set how you like. The seat is where you left it, and you are free to leave the door open so the cat can visit. You don't have to schedule a time to take a shower. It's always your shower time whenever you get up. The thermostat is set wherever you want it. You get as many blankets as you want, and your snore is free to roam wild and unfettered. Every knock and zzzzzzzzzrk and tiak allowing you to sleep deep and sound without nudge, elbow, or poke interrupting your slumber. This is all amazing and true. Thanks for reminding me why I love having only a feline roomie. No checking in with someone. No explanations required if you just want to walk out the door and do something. The freedom is just unmatched. I've gotten so used to just getting up and going when I decide to do something that when a couple of friends stayed with me for several months while their condo was being renovated, I just got up and walked out one day. One of my friends asked the other, did we do something to upset Jim? He just got up and walked out without saying goodbye. Nice and peaceful. Until you have visitors. Then you have to run the vacuum, tidy the living room, spray the Febreze, hide the dirty dishes, etc. Yeah, I used to invite people over to force myself to clean. I do this constantly. I mean, my house is usually tidy. Sometimes dishes pile up a bit, but whatever. But I forget to do things like dusting or things you don't need to do daily or regularly, so I invite my mum over, so I'm forced to do it cause she's so damn clean and I'm afraid of her judgment. Haha. I like that you cleaned everything except the dishes. You hid the dirty dishes. This resonates with me. You will start talking to yourself. I don't know why, but you do. Yesterday I realized I was speaking aloud everything I was thinking of doing. Oops. Cleaning is easy. You clean before work and come back to a clean house and less MR. Kitty knocked down 3 cups and now you have glass to pick up. Oh well. Cooking is tough. You either make too much or you just stop by and get food because it's easier. I don't like leftovers a lot, so it's like, why bother cooking after a long day of work? Salads and sandwiches becomes the go-to good because it's quick. This is just me, but I leave the TV on. I can be reading, playing a PC game, going to sleep etc, but the TV is on. Note: I put my timer on when I go to sleep so I don't leave TV on all night. I come from a family of 7, so I'm used to noise. Quiet freaks me out. Even when I have a headache or a migraine, I must have noise. When you are sick, being alone sucks. If you throw up, you must clean it up. If you are too sick to even get up, you can get dehydrated. You force yourself to get up and get water and make soup because you know you must keep hydrated even if you're shaking and your legs are near collapsing. You must take your temperature and take aspirin and take care of animals. Breaking your leg or arm sucks too. You have nobody to help you. You can bring anybody to your place without worries or needing to ask permission. A big plus, you only have you to help pay bills. You can't afford to get a pay cut. Getting fired, taking medical time off, getting sick after all your sick days are used means you can't afford to take time off unless your boss orders you to go home. The bathrooms are all yours. No waking up early to get there first. No standing outside dancing and begging them to hurry up. You can use the restroom whenever you want. It's amazing. No having a roommate bring a man over and have loud sex while you are trying to sleep. Temperature control is all you. You can keep your house or apartment at the temperature you like, as long as you can afford it. No judging. You want to watch a marathon of your favorite TV show all day while eating pizza, cake, and soda. You can. This is dangerous. You will get lonely if you are used to having people live with you. You can completely become unsocial. Such a good list. I hope your post moves up in the thread so more people read it. Thoughtful and lucid and encompasses lots of aspects well. Your whole list resonates with me other than the TV. That's what I love about being alone. I don't have to hear the TV on all the time now. I also turn off lights when I leave a room. I talk to myself a lot now, so much that I do it in public. I have to be careful. I had surgery with a 6-week recovery in 2018. It was difficult, to say the least. I miss my late husband the most at times like that. Quiet, so quiet. You can be naked all day without grossing anyone out or giving them the impression that you want sex. Yup, I lived in my place for over a week. A friend comes to visit, says you know your bathroom door doesn't close, right? I had no idea. That's hilarious. I live alone but I still shut and lock the bathroom door and bedroom door when I sleep. It's like being on vacation. Permanently. Yup lol. You do whatever, wherever. Far superior to any other kind of living. You are the master of your domain. All the stuff remains where stuff is supposed to be. You put a Coke in the fridge and it's still there. The sink never gets clogged with hair. The room temperature is always 18 degrees C. If you don't feel like cooking food you don't have to. It's wonderful. The sink never gets clogged with hair. Sad long hair living alone noises. I lived alone for less than a year. It was great at first. I could do whatever I want whenever I want without anyone judging me. It was so nice to have my own little private oasis. It did get lonely sometimes though. I had people over sometimes and it was cool to have company over whenever I want, but after a while of living there when my guests left I felt this sometimes overwhelming loneliness. It got very depressing. I think I have a unique perspective on this topic. I'll try to be brief. I'm 46, have 3 grown children, and a granddaughter. I married my high school sweetheart at 18. She was pregnant with our oldest. I moved in with her at 17 years straight out of my mother's very narcissistic and controlling home. Fast forward almost 30 years. My divorce was final last June. I've been on my own since last January. First time in my life living alone. At 46, I'm all over the place. Emotionally, it's incredibly liberating to make every decision, only having to consider myself. It's also very stressful and difficult. It's lonely as hell for someone like me, but it's also incredibly introspective. I've learned so much about myself, my mental illnesses, my behaviors and their root causes, things I'm having trouble with after just over a year, motivation to do just about anything but sit, smoke, eat and drink. Hygiene is bare minimum, as is cleaning and caring for my living space. It's maddening. I've yet to make this place feel like home, so much as just feel like a safe space, but it's coming. I can feel it. Time will heal me. When I left and divorced her, she took my house, my friends, my stuff, my money. My credit tanked within a couple months, and I'm back to barely getting to the next paycheck. The good part of this is testing my own character and skills by enduring this hardship. I'm not a strong man, by any means, according to today's standards, but I am getting better, stronger, more resolved. The shortest path is not always the easiest. I don't understand how it's legal to lose so much in a divorce. I signed it all away as I walked away. I had to get out. I was not mentally sound, and was actively detoxing from a years-long anxiety treatment of daily Xanax. I did it. She demanded half my retirement savings, and I obliged. Would have given it all if it meant I knew she'd be okay. I believe I walked away from my soulmate, but don't regret it. Positives. Nobody leaves dirty dishes in the sink. You don't have to feel awful if you leave a dirty plate once a week. You can stay naked 24/7. Bathroom is never busy. You can masturbate in the kitchen and nobody cares. You can play Barbie girl on your phone loudly. You can use all space you want. Nobody ever breaks your things. Negatives. There's no one to watch Farmer Wants Wife with. No one to potentially cuddle with. You can't borrow things from roommates. You'll quickly realize that the pros are the cons, and the cons are the pros. For example, being alone. That can be awesome, liberating. It can also be lonely and depressing. Another example, you have to pay all the bills. You don't have to worry if your roommate got the heat or electric bill in on time, and you get satisfaction of fully supporting yourself. But you have to pay everything yourself. At least you always know what's up. You can do whatever you want. Literally, it's great. But you'll also find yourself doing the most bizarre, random stuff and asking yourself why you spent 10 hours doing that. It's quiet. You can set the rules. You can do whatever. Sex loud. Masturbate loud. You can just walk from the shower to get your towel naked. Or you can just air dry. You don't have to ask anyone for their opinion or approval. The downside is you only have one perspective unless you reach out to someone. Also, it's remarkable how much random stuff weighs us down, or tethers us up in some way, subconsciously, when we live with other people. There is a lot you don't think about, really ever, that plays a huge role in the way you conduct yourself when you're around others. You'll find a whole lot about yourself when you live alone, and what matters most to you. You can focus your life and energy on what you want to do. And very importantly, don't forget to be social. I actually heard this quote from Reddit a long time ago from a similar post. When you live alone, it's remarkable how fast time flies. You can go months without seeing anyone before you realize. Make sure to keep in touch with those you love. Don't be closed off to having guests, roommates, so's, but also don't be quick to submit your solitude to others, if it's not really what you want. OP. If you're thinking of doing it and can, go for it. I read a comment that talks about how nice and peaceful it is when you're alone and thought I'd jump in with the other side of that. That peace and tranquility translates into boredom and sadness if you're not an explicit introvert. For everyone that talks about how nice it is not to have a roommate messing things up, you start to really just want to have someone around just for interaction. A pet really isn't going to fill the void of human interaction. Not that I don't love my dog. It has been a problem for me because then when I have tried to move in with girlfriends in the past, I don't have a lot of experience dealing with someone else in my living space. Living alone really doesn't prepare you for the necessary compromise and frustration of being around people, and avoiding such things only conditions you to further distance yourself from others.